No, it's fine. We get it.
Oh,
We're good to go now. Yeah, thank you.
All righty. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Committee of Adjustment meeting for August 7th, 2025. I will start with any declaration of pecuniary interest. Seeing none. Just a reminder, if anybody would like to speak, we request that you stand, state your full name and your home address, and try to speak loudly so that we can hear. Good. We will move to item number 2, the agenda, to adopt the minutes. Any questions, Madam Mayor?
I'd like to propose an amendment to the minutes as presented for item 5.1.1 of the minutes of the last meeting. And the.
Can we just, you're just one ahead because we're still doing the agenda.
We're doing
He
the
said
agenda.
that, I thought you
No, I
said.
said agenda.
I thought you said
No.
It's okay.
minutes, I'm sorry.
So any questions or comments on the agenda?
Agenda's fine.
Seeing none. We will go to number 3, adoption of the minutes. Any questions or comments, Madam Mayor?
Thank you. For the minutes of the last meeting, on item 5.1.1, under the comments provided by, I would just like to respectfully ask that under the names for Omar Laval and Madeline Baudry, that it be recognized that they were speaking on behalf of the West Nipissing Sudbury East Federation of Agriculture, our local chapter of the Ontario Federation of Agriculture. Is that the only comments they provided officially? Like, there's not another place in the minutes?
There may be
I
another
believe there was.
location, but I'll just make a,
Okay, so any public comments received by either Mr. Leveron or Madame Baudry, if they could just be recognized as providing comments on behalf of that organization, that would be appreciated.
so if I may, it is moved by Jonathan Sandiford and seconded by Kathleen Rochon. Be it resolved that the minutes of the Committee of Adjustment meeting held on July 3rd, 2025 be adopted as amended.
Questions or comments? All in favor? Carried. We'll move to item number 4, agency comments. Is there anything?
So you do have your agency comments in your package. Just trying to flip to them here. Nothing really out of the ordinary here. Just a reminder to comply with the entrance bylaw for Public Works on our first application, and the entrance that they are using is an existing entrance. There's no new ones proposed. That's pretty much it for those comments. We do also have some comments that we received this afternoon from MTO on 2 files. So when we get to those, I've got them kind of marked so that I can provide those to you at that time, if that works.
Fantastic. We will move forward to item number 5, application for consent and minor variance. 5.1, consent application number 1.
Thank you. It is moved by Kathleen Rochon and seconded by Jonathan Sandiford. Be it resolved that the consent application made by Richard and Lynn Crystal for the creation of a right-of-way at 1295 Levac Road, Municipality of West Nipissing, is approved on the following conditions: that a reference plan be prepared and deposited in the Land Registry Office, and a copy of the new survey be filed with the municipality, confirmation that all property taxes are paid to date, that all conditions be met on or before August 8th, 2027, being 2 years from the date of giving notice, and that a transfer be submitted to the Secretary Treasurer for the issuance of a certificate of consent. So through Mr. Chair, I'll just share my screen here. It is a bit challenging, unfortunately, with the sketch because there's a good amount going on. So if you'll allow me, the map shown in front of you essentially illustrates what the right-of-way is proposed for. So these farm fields on the north side of the river are part of this farm on the south side. And in order for them to be able to access these fields, they're looking for a right-of-way to go up through this existing driveway and then behind this property to get into their fields.
Any questions?
It's very hard to see based on the plan. So obviously you've got the Cache River here. This is where that dwelling is.
Mhm.
So the road, that driveway that's there, I don't know if this will make it better or worse, but we'll see. You can, yes. Do you want me to
Sorry, I
keep
need to
going
be
or?
recognized by the chair.
Yes, I didn't see your hand.
Okay, sorry.
Go ahead.
So right now, are they accessing the property through what looks like a little bridge over the Cache River there in the middle of the field at the if you put your cursor,
Right here.
yeah, that thing there, is that how they're accessing their fields right now?
Don is shaking his head, if I may point to him for
Don?
that response.
No,
No.
Okay,
I didn't think so.
the bridge isn't big enough to put a combine through.
Any other questions?
Essentially, that right of way is going over that existing driveway. And then where that right of way ends on the plan is where that residential property ends and where their property starts.
so it says here, the application is at 1295 Levac Road.
Yes,
So that is the property that's neighboring the property that's trying to access the fields.
that is the property where the right of way is on,
And that,
not the property that is benefiting from the right of way.
okay, and the right of way doesn't exist at this point. This is the proposed right of way.
Correct. The
Okay.
easement itself doesn't exist. The driveway is physically on the ground.
So is the applicant 1295 because that is currently their property and they have negotiated for a right of way with the neighboring property?
That is correct. So the owners of the land are the applicants,
Okay.
but they are the ones that are giving a right of way to someone
And the
else to use.
benefiting
Yes,
property is that one with
The
the
farming
house on, the house on them.
that is correct, yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? Comments, concerns? All righty. All in favor? Carried. We'll move on to item number 2.
Okay, it is moved by Jonathan Sandiford and seconded by Kathleen Rochant. Be it resolved that the consent application made by Luke and Jocelyn Gingras for the creation of 2 new lots on Piquette Road, Municipality of West Nipissing, is approved on the following conditions: that a reference plan be prepared and deposited in the Land Registry Office, and a copy of the new survey be filed with the municipality. Confirmation that all property taxes are paid to date, that all conditions be met on or before August 8th, 2027, that a transfer be submitted to the Secretary Treasurer for the issuance of a certificate of consent. In the event that any portion of a municipally maintained and traveled road be located on either the severed or retained lands, that 10 meters from center line of the maintained and traveled roadway, including the retained land, shall be surveyed at the owner's cost and transferred to the municipality, and that the municipal clerk shall, pursuant to Section 65(1) of the Drainage Act, instruct the municipal engineer to apportion the assessment for drain maintenance among the parts into which the lands are being divided. Through you, Mr. Chair, this is an application on Piquette Road. The applicant is proposing to create 2 new lots. Each one has an area of about 1.5 hectares, just under 4 acres, and each would have 67 meters of frontage. The retained land has an area of about 30 hectares, just over 70 acres. The recommendation before you is to refuse the application based on the fact that the government has classified this as class 3 soils. And under the provincial planning statement, when the property has class 1, 2, or 3 soils, it is deemed to be considered prime agriculture. And the PPS is very specific about what situations you can sever a property in prime agricultural, and unfortunately, this application does not fall into those categories.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Any questions or comments from yes?
Well, I just,
Lift toi. Okay, and your name and address.
Luc Langado, 740 Piquette Road. I just want to say, like, we purchased this property in 2011 with the intent to sever a lot. We knew it was rural back then, and the intention was to sever a lot and build considerably smaller and retire on, right? Our oldest son has shown interest in moving back in this area, so hence the second lot, right? I mean, back in March or something, Madame Mairesse and Councillor Pellerin came to our Club de l'Amitié supper, where they both informed us of the province's intent, right? And for us to react ASAP. So it took a while, but here we are, right? So you can see that there are, the map's gone, but 3 points.
Sorry, yes, I can.
That's it.
There's 3.7 acres, I believe, per lot. But that being said, we may only use 2 or whatever for the houses, right? So I mean, it will remain farm, right? So, and we're only taking 7 acres out of probably 34 workable acres, right? So I don't know what the recommendation is or not, but anyways, that's our case, and we're hoping to be able to sever and retire there. Across the road, we pay way too much taxes. We're not gonna be able to move forward, so we're gonna have to downsize. And that was the intent the whole time. So again, when Madame Mairesse and Councillor Pellerin came over, thank you guys for that, by the way. When they came over and informed us, well, that kind of got the ball going. It took a while, but like I mentioned, here we are, so.
But if I may ask, Monsieur Gingras, is it being farmed right now?
Yes, it is.
By whom?
Mark Geltink.
Okay. Oh, so,
You are. Okay, yeah, I just want to add.
name and address, please.
Oh, Fern Pellerin, 214 Piquette Road. I'd just like to add that I was born and raised just adjacent to that property. And comment tu dis? Monsieur Stanford, es-tu français ou anglais?
Anglais.
Ah, il est anglais, okay. We used to call that land la terre à Séraphin. And you know why? The land it's full of rock. When you plow, Monsieur Lionel Piquette at the time owned the land, and he used to break a lot of les pointes à Sainte-Charrue. So that's why I know about that land. Years ago, when these guys bought it, it was for sale for quite a few years, and it wasn't sold. In the meantime, when you think about it, if it would be good farmland, Monsieur Krause, which is one of the biggest cash crop farmer in West Nipissing, lives a kilometer from there. So if it'd be good farmland, he would have bought it. He would have jumped on it. It was 30-some thousand, but he didn't. Like a couple piece of land further down, same thing. It varies from farm to farm. Why it was changed to ag from rural, who decides that, I don't know. But anyway, having said that, the policies may be there, but I remember when I tried to sever some lots years ago, our policy here was 2. But I kept going to Municipal Affairs in Sudbury, and they helped me go above that. And they always told me, I always remember that. Those policies are there for a guideline. It's not written in rock. That's why you have a committee to go case by case. So that's, yeah, that's about it. And, hopefully, common sense prevails. Thank you.
Mike. Oh, Madam Mayor?
What's the minimum frontage for a rural residential lot?
60 meters, about 200 feet.
Okay. So I would have a question for the proponent. Why would you like to keep 3.4 acres per lot at, how many feet did you say? 200?
Approximately 200.
Okay.
So it's 220.
3.4 acres per lot when for rural residential, you could go as small as 2 acres per lot, which would then preserve 2.5,
Not to be picky.
2.2,
2.47.
2.47.
1 hectare?
Yeah.
I thought it was 2.2.
2.47.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I believe you. But why would you not minimize the lot size to preserve the most amount of farmland?
Bring back the.
I don't have to say my name again.
No, you don't.
No.
No, thank you. I could
Can
ask
you
the
go
question.
back to the map, please?
Yeah, it's coming up.
Okay,
Would you prefer the sketch?
yeah, please, Sam. Right. The only reason I went that long
Is the green?
there's a ditch here, so I went close to it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it could be 2 acres to your point. It doesn't really matter. At that point in time, I figured, what the hell, right? If we're gonna go, let's go all out. Knowing that probably around this section will that actually ever be used for residential, right? And I don't see myself cutting 2 acres of lawn, trust me.
Mr. Chair, I have one more question for you, Mr. Gingras.
Yeah, Jenkins.
Okay, let's see. On the next page, you've shown the MDS evaluation according to the Ontario mapping.
Okay,
And there is what looks to be an active livestock operation at the neighboring farm.
okay,
Is that correct?
yes.
Okay, and what is the minimum distance separate? Like, to me, on this sketch, it looks like the MDS radius actually touches into the lot that's the lot that is most easterly.
So
Do you see what I'm saying there? Like, and I don't know how precise those are, so I don't know whether proper field measurements have been done to determine the NDS on that.
So through you, Mr. Chair, the MDS calculation is based on the area of that livestock facility and then any associated manure storage.
Okay.
Based on the animals housed within that building and the size of the building is what sets out that minimum distance separation. The calculations that were prepared show just under 200 meters, which does appear to slightly intrude into the most eastern lot. But there still is a sufficient building envelope that would be outside of that facility.
Okay, so when sorry, this is a question for a planner, when the MDS is being considered, for those who don't know, a minimum distance separation from livestock facilities, is it only considered where the buildings will be on the property, or is it considered any encroachment onto the new lot creation?
So the setback is established based on the size of the structure.
Okay.
And if I may, Paul, I believe, did this MDS calculation. Did you also factor in the expansion factor as well?
Yes.
Okay. So this calculation was done with keeping in mind that that facility may be expanded in the future.
Thank you. Those were my questions.
Good. Anyone else?
Mike Vanderheen, 580 Pequot Road. I have concerns the same as him. I'm actually his neighbor to the west, I guess. Yeah.
East.
No, west.
West.
Well, west and east.
The other way.
And
The other way. Facing the house to the left.
yeah.
Okay.
Like the lot that we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I had moved up here 6 years ago because it's zoned rural. And like I have a lot of business plans that I had planned to do. And like the zoning changes, they're kind of screwing me over, even as a farmer. Like this isn't the 1990s where it's just cash crops and livestock. You know, there's agritourism, farm stand business, even like fabrication and some kind of manufacturing on rural land. And it's not like I have a big farm on the road, but that's not the only thing I want to do. And
So my question for you is, I mean, I don't want to sound rude or anything, but is any of your questions or comments pertaining to?
yes,
It's
because I would like to do the same as him. I have 5 kids. I plan to have more. And down the road, I want to divide off some lots. You're saying I can't now? The reason I purchased it in the first place is to have this flexibility.
Okay, so
I-
I'm not saying you can't.
Yeah, but if it's rezoned, if
Yeah, I
he's
understand.
not allowed, I'm not allowed,
I understand.
right?
Yeah. However, again, when the official plan all comes out and all the provincial laws come out and so on in the next several months or a year or whatnot, those will be there at that time, right? So we're here to discuss his application right now, unfortunately, and whatever decision we make.
It affects me though, is
It
what I'm
may
saying.
and it may not, right? It
Well-
may not, in the sense that we may say yes or no to him, but the law may change in a year or two from now when you decide to do the same thing. That's all I'm getting at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if you're saying that he can't separate his lots when it's zoned rural already,
Yeah.
it's not zoned agriculture. How can you stop
Yeah.
him? I'm not understanding.
Go ahead.
So through you, Mr. Chair, so there's kind of the 3 levels of policy here. So at the municipal level, we have the zoning bylaw and the official plan. For this property, it is designated as rural in the official plan and it is zoned as rural in our zoning bylaw.
Yeah.
However, the provincial planning statement, which is at a provincial level, they have defined what they consider to be prime agricultural land.
Well, he's absolutely
Hold on,
correct.
please.
He's
Please
absolutely.
don't cut her off.
Oh, no, sorry. I'm just,
Okay,
I'm
let her
correcting
finish,
him.
let her
Okay.
finish, please.
All right.
So they base their definition, it's very, very clearly set out in the PPS, what they consider, and they consider any class 1, 2, or 3 soil lands. And the provincial mapping that's available shows that this is considered class 3 lands. So it would fall into the prime agricultural policies of the provincial policy statement. So those are the kind of restrictions that we're dealing with on this application when it comes to the lot severances and those restrictions, because under the PPS, it's considered agricultural.
So from what I understand, there's some properties that are being excluded from this.
I see
That
that.
have better soil. And actually, to his point, the soil there is crap. I farm right beside it. It's a swamp. It's not good. So, I mean, like if he wanted to divide off lots, that's not prime farm agricultural land. Like that's, of all the land I have, right beside him is the only place I decided not to tile drain and not improve the land because it's not worth anything. It's not really that good farmable. And that's directly adjacent to him. And so if they're gonna say that he can't divide off, like who's to say if I have 9 or 10 kids down the road, all of a sudden I'm not allowed to divide off lots for them? Like, I don't understand. Like I intend to keep farming it, but you can't just change zoning. Like, I bought it for the zoning. It's actually devaluing my land and all my business opportunities. And I've spent millions of dollars building my farm with this intention in mind. And for you guys just to change the zoning, you're really screwing me.
Okay, so we understand everything that you're saying,
Yeah.
okay? However, keep in mind, not all of this is us. This is the province, right?
Sure.
Just keep that in mind.
But why is there some properties being excluded? This is what I'm not understanding.
Well, go ahead.
Just if I may, believe you may have sent an email already. A lot of what you're discussing here is tied more to our general official plan project and the zoning bylaw update.
Well, I'll definitely be there too. I just figured I'd,
Yes,
to
so,
understand what's going on here, because if you say no to him,
so
So we
If I
understand
may.
your support.
yeah. And it's horrible land, by the way, so I should let him divide it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Don?
If they could do, and this is a suggestion, what happens if they could do soil sampling and get their soil tested and it's not zone class 3? Is that again, are you still going to stick with the PPS? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yes. Yes.
okay.
Is there another yes? No. Okay.
Yes.
Through you, Mr. Chair, if there was a study completed that showed that the soil wasn't a class 3, I think that would be very reasonable to accept that, especially given that some of these soil classes and the data we have can be quite many
Outdated.
years old. Yeah. So if there was something undertaken, that they were willing to pay for it at their expense to demonstrate that the soil wasn't to be considered class 3 soils, I think that would be a very reasonable opportunity. So,
Paul?
If I
Sorry,
may.
hold on, Paul, Don.
I'm not speaking as an agent, although I did prepare the MDS for Mr. Gingras. Paul Goodrich, 116 Byers Road calendar, as just member of the public. But we also did research this as well, and on the Canada Lands inventory mapping, these lands are shown as being class 3/4. So they are not necessarily all class 3 lands. They fall somewhere in between those two categories. We've talked to a couple of the other farmers, the bigger farmers in West Nipissing as well. And they tell me that as you get closer to the bedrock areas, the soil quality degrades. The closer you get to the bedrock, the more the soil degrades. So it's basically confirming exactly what Fern had said earlier about the rockiness of the soil in that area, and the same thing that this gentleman has also said about the soil quality, because as you're at that south end of the property closest to the bedrock, that's where you're more likely to get the class 4 soils than the 3. But I believe I sent you copies of the Canada Land inventory mapping that did clearly indicate that it wasn't necessarily class 3. And even the class 3 was class 3W, which means that without tile drainage, the soil, and to this gentleman's point as well, really isn't good farmland as it is. And when you read the classifications, even the class 3 is iffy. I know it's classified as prime soils by the province, but this is one of those in-between areas where it isn't necessarily just class 3, it's class 3/4.
Thank you.
If that helps.
If I may,
You may.
thank you. My Zoom wants to come up here. This is a screenshot from the
The
Canada
province?
Lands inventory. This is the provincial mapping. So the area where they're looking at doing those severances is right around here.
So that says what, 3OW?
It's 3DW.
3DW.
So it's a subclass under the class 3 soil.
So it's just below 3.
It's on the lower end of a 3.
Okay.
It still is within a 3.
Okay. Don, you had something?
He's saying no.
No, Paul said it all for you? Okay. Madam Mayor?
All good.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
Probably for Mr. Goodrich or Mr. Goulet, through you, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
What would be the approximate cost of carrying out soil sampling on that property? I'm just asking you because in your professional capacity, you may have had to do similar work.
Yeah, I haven't done it for many years myself, but we did speak to Dan Schwartz, a Trooper, who was one of the farmers we talked about. And I think he said the cost, it's minimal. It's like $25 or something. But it depends on where it goes to.
So if I go by Google, it's a few $, per acre on basic garden soil.
Okay.
So when you're testing the soil, does it also factor in like drainage and stuff like that? Because I can say his farm, last year, I think it was what, Luke, July 26th or something, it was almost the end of July. And I had tried to get in there to work the soil and it sunk my tractor.
So,
I mean, this is in like almost August.
no,
And
I
you still take your tractor.
I understand what you're saying, but you can't ask.
No, I'm asking, when they test the soil, are they testing the soil just for the quality of the soil or also including the drainage in the area? Because a big factor that makes it not farmable.
Yeah.
is
Just the
actually how
soil.
wet it is.
Just the soil,
soil.
Mike.
Yeah, just the soil.
Okay.
Okay.
Madam Mayor?
I'd like to make a motion to defer the application to allow the applicant to conduct soil testing and present that as part of their application. If the cost is minimal and it is marginal soil, I think if that information were presented to the committee, it may be in a little bit more easy for us to justify making a decision that is contrary to provincial policy. So I'd like to make that motion to defer.
Sounds
If I
good. So
could.
we have a motion on the table to defer.
We need a seconder,
Yeah,
and then
well,
if you'd like
Yeah,
to speak.
so we need I have a motion on the table to defer this item to a further
future
meeting, to a future date, providing time for the applicant to do soil testing. I need a seconder. Jonathan? So it's carried?
No,
No? Well,
you
yes.
need to open the floor
Well,
to see.
for
if-
questions, yes, or comments.
I just wanted to ask, Madame Lamaya, you mentioned that perhaps downsizing would be another option.
Yes.
Is that something that I should be considering as well?
I wouldn't put it in as a condition on the motion to defer. But if the question is to me personally, I would feel more comfortable if as much of the farmland was being retained as possible. But
Okay.
I mean, that's a discussion. But I mean, that I'm only speaking for me as a member of the committee. I'm not speaking on behalf of the other members of the committee and how they feel about that.
So I would take it as, the motion to defer will move forward, and when you come back with your information, if you've changed your setbacks, then you've changed them.
Okay.
Mr. Pellerin?
Just one question. I never met Mr.
Stanford?
Stanford.
Stanford.
Are you in the, do you know about farming or stuff like this? Just curious.
No, I'm more of an architectural background than a farmer and a land developer, to be honest. But I'm certainly learning. What is your question? What's your other question?
I think you just wanted to know your background, Mr. Sanford.
Yeah, I'm more architectural land developer.
Any other comments?
Even David from Werner, 585 Rangeville Road,
555?
585.
585.
I'm a former there. I just wonder who extend all those zoning? Because on my property, if you go at the far end by the lake, when the dam blew back in the 80s, I was canoeing and there and catching pike with a canoe. And now it's flooding every spring, the bush and everything, and it's gonna be prime farmland. And I've been following those meetings since the beginning. And we had to vote farmer against farmer. And the farmer that already create their lot were for it. And the other guys that wanted to create lot, they didn't stand a chance.
So again, we'll go back to what I said earlier, or what she said earlier, right? A lot of it has to do with the municipality, a lot of it has to do with the provincial bylaws and stuff like that. However, if your questions or comments are towards this application, and I don't mean to be rude, but in meetings, we need to stick to this or else we'll never get to the next individuals that we need to get to. So anyways, you know what I mean? So, but to answer a bit of it, and Madam Mayor can add, because it's, the municipality has some oversight on the zoning and stuff, but so does the province. Madam Mayor?
I was just gonna say, for general kind of land use policy, I would encourage you to reach out in regards to the official plan process and participate in those public meetings. But the way that, especially the rules regarding agricultural have come down, it's very specified within provincial policy. Like this is not, there's not a lot of leeway in the way that the municipality will be dealing with these going forward. We can't develop policies that aren't compliant with policies. And so, but I'm just saying, like, so what Mr. St. Louis, Chair St. Louis said is correct. Like, we're dealing with a specific application here for the discussions on kind of the bigger land use planning issues that we're facing right now as a council and as a municipality. There will be additional public meetings, and that would be the correct time and place to come with your feedback.
Because on my farm, it used to own by my dad, he had a rebate for taxes because it was a flood area. Now it's gonna be prime farmland.
So again, and- yeah, and like we've been saying, keep in mind, and pass the word around, if you will, that we are going to have two additional official plan meetings, right? Those will be the meetings where you get to speak your mind. Those will be the meetings that I'm gonna say it, like, I won't cut you off. You can talk all you want, you know what I mean? Those are the meetings that you're gonna get to share your feelings and your thoughts on how things are moving forward and what you want to see happen, right?
And if I may, just to
Yeah.
jump off of that, there is a project webpage on the municipality's webpage, and it has a subscribe button. And if you subscribe your email to that, once those dates are set, you will get the emails sending you when those dates and when those meetings will be, so you can kind of just get those updates.
We're just saying, it's not that we want to be rude, it's by having other conversation, we're taking away from their application. You know what I mean?
And this specific committee has a very specific mandate with just consent applications and minor variances. So this isn't even the planning advisory committee for council. So this committee doesn't report back to council in any way. It is an independent, quasi-judicial committee. And so, even more so than at the planning committee, input, this particular committee doesn't really have any bearing on the overall policy discussions, which is what you gentlemen are more interested in.
I'm directly adjacent and I plan the same things.
I know, but this is a specific,
Right.
for this specific application. So anyway, so you had a motion
Yes.
to defer on the table. It was seconded.
Thank you. Is there any other comment on the motion? Don?
Yeah, just a comment. You're kind of saying that these people are talking outside the box, but here's my feel of it. They're talking about that box, which is your application. They're talking that he's getting changed, that what they're doing is changing it from rural. That's all the same in that application. So I don't think my comment is that what those people are saying to you is they're arguing for the guy being the same thing.
The outcome of his
Sorry.
His severance.
You really need to put your hand up and be recognized by the chair.
Well,
Just
right.
to keep
So
order.
thank you, Don, and I understand, Don, and again, like I stated, it has not, we understand what they're saying and we get what they're saying and we get they're here to support him. We get that. However, if you start talking about your home and your land, if you start talking about dams or pike fishing, we're not talking about his application anymore. This is about his application, and that's what we want to talk about now, again. So I think we've gone through this long enough. There's a motion on the floor. If there's any other comments about the deferral, for us to defer this to the next meeting, please, if not, we're going to move forward.
Can I ask one more question?
You can ask one more question. Is it you asking or is it Mr. Goulet?
No, it's me. Samantha, would you,
And I'm Goulet.
how does this work? Do I have to wait till the next meeting to bring you the report from the samples? Or do I bring them to you as soon as I get them, or how does that work?
So because you went through it already, you know that there's a certain timeline we need the application before the meeting to be able to
Yes.
circulate it.
And that's kind of
So-
where I was going.
So as soon as you get that information, send it along to me, and
Okay.
once we've got all the information, we'll put you on the next closest meeting that we can.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you much.
Of course.
Okay, I think we're good to move forward. Okay. We will move to application 3. Oh, sorry.
We had that motion to amend, but we haven't.
We haven't
had the
ratified
vote.
it, so all in favor, you need to.
I did then, John. Oh, no, he seconded. So all in
motion, yeah.
favor for the motion?
As amended.
As amended, yes.
So we're deferring the application. Yeah,
All right, so I'll stand for the second.
it's all good.
We'll move to number 3.
Okay.
Oh, hold on, actually.
Yeah.
If you guys want to stick around, I can give you a second. If you don't want to stick around for the rest, I'll give you a second to.
Okay. Pretty much done. I would just want to say thanks, guys.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
listen, thank you.
Nice to meet you, by the way.
Okay, we'll move to number 3.
Thank you. It is moved by Kathleen Rochon and seconded by Jonathan Sanford. Be it resolved that the consent application for the creation of a right-of-way at 1228 Highway 575, Municipality of West Nipissing, is approved on the following condition: that a reference plan be prepared and deposited in the Land Registry Office, and a copy of the new survey be filed with the municipality, confirmation that all property taxes are paid to date, that all conditions be met on or before August 8th, 2027, that a transfer be submitted to the Secretary Treasurer for the issuance of a certificate of consent, and that the existing blanket right-of-way contained in instrument number LT 192843 be released and abandoned. Through you, Mr. Chair, this is another property that will probably feel a bit familiar. So earlier last year, there was a consent application to create this right-of-way that you can kind of see just along the top portion of the property here. At that time, it was approved, and one of the conditions noted in the decision was that if they wish to use the existing access that was off of Highway 575, they would be required to get a second easement, which is why this application is here. You can kind of see based on the aerial imagery that there is a fairly large swamp that goes through the middle of the property. So they are unable to access the southern portion of the property using the existing easement, which is why they're proposing this. We did receive comments from the MTO this afternoon. They didn't have any concerns or objections to the file, just some housekeeping administrative because of whose name was on the right-of-way, because it was a lot that was benefiting from it, not the actual property owner. Nothing we need to be concerned about. It's just kind of some admin that MTO has to take care of, but they don't have any concerns with the actual application itself.
Perfect. Any comments or concerns or questions? Madam Mayor.
I'm just still really confused by the map, so if you could
Yes.
talk slowly on it.
So,
So I see Leduc Road, and there's a bit of a curve at the end, and then there's, what are they asking to do again? I'm just very confused. Because there's
Okay.
all kinds of lines on this map.
So this highlighted in yellow down at the bottom here,
Yes.
they're proposing to do a right-of-way there to access this landlocked parcel to the west.
Lot 8?
The one that says swamp on it, yes,
The one that says Lot 8 here, concessions.
yeah.
Okay. And that would be an easement right off of 575,
That is correct, yes.
and MTO does not have concerns about that.
They do not have concerns. There is an existing residential entrance permit at that location.
Good. Jonathan? I assume he's good. I can't see.
Stop sharing.
All right.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, all in favor? It's carried. We are moving to number 4.
Okay, it is moved by Jonathan Sandiford and seconded by Kathleen Rochon. Be it resolved that the consent application made by Diane Tellier for the creation of a new lot at 634 Leclerc Road, Municipality of West Nipissing, is approved on the following conditions. That a reference plan be prepared and deposited in the Land Registry Office, that all property taxes are paid to date, that all conditions be met on or before August 7th, 2027, that a transfer be submitted to the Secretary Treasurer for the issuance of a certificate of consent, in the event that any portion of a municipally maintained and traveled road be located on either the severed or retained, that 10 meters from center line of the maintained and traveled road be surveyed at the owner's cost and transferred to the municipality, that the municipal clerk shall, pursuant to section 65(1) of the Drainage Act, instruct the municipal engineer to apportion the assessment for drain maintenance among the parts into which the lands are being divided, that a PIN consolidation be registered in the Land Registry Office, in order to consolidate the lot addition that, I'm sorry, should not be on this one. And that the severed surplus farm dwelling be rezoned from agricultural 1 to rural residential, and retained farmland be rezoned from agricultural 1 to agricultural 2. So if I may just make some housekeeping while we're reading this, number 7 is not applicable to this application. And number 8 is there, but because of the official plan policies, the property will be automatically rezoned to PA2. So that condition is not a required condition there. So I will share my screen here. The application is proposing to surplus the existing dwelling on the farm. The Agricultural Advisory Committee looked at this last week and they were in support of the application. The lot's just about 1 hectare in size. And obviously the retained land would be rezoned to A2 so that they would no longer be able to construct a new dwelling on it.
Any questions or comment? Seeing none?
Sorry,
No.
the severed land, it shows an area 13.22 hectares. That seems not right. On the map?
That is incorrect. It is, I believe, 1.3.
Okay, so it's just a bad decimal point on that?
Yeah, it's just a bad decimal.
They didn't.
1.3.
Drawing.
1.3 hectares is approximately,
That's 1.12 here.
It'd be
1.12,
1.3
okay.
Based on the
Sorry,
size.
it just, I'm like, I was doing the math on
Yeah, it's
that.
just a decimal point in the wrong spot.
Okay.
Typo.
Any other questions or comments? No? Seeing none, all in
Sorry,
favor?
I would
Yep.
just point out that the comments received today by the Ontario Federation of Agriculture were in regards to this file particularly.
That is correct, yes.
Just if committee members had a chance, I will say that the OFA did present their concerns at the Agricultural Advisory Committee, in which I am a member ex officio. And the concern was that this is not being done their concern was that this is not being done as consolidation, but the committee did not have an issue with that as long as the lands were zoned to the A2, which will prevent any further or future development of a residential structure on that land.
Don?
Yeah, just a quick thing, what you were saying, A1 to A2, the land will be zoned rural residential?
The house will be zoned rural residential, but
And that's planner.
Sorry, so the official plan policies do rezone the farmland from A1 to A2. If they were to rezone the dwelling from A1 to rural residential, that would require a zoning bylaw amendment. That's not something that our policies automatically do. But
So-
leaving that property as A1.
How
it's-
can you do that?
It could be left as A1.
It's,
That has been done in the past, just leaving it because it is still going to be within kind of that agricultural system anyways.
so the only way to change that is we'd have to put another application in to change it because it's not a farm from A1 to rural residential.
That is correct. So the A1 to A2 portion will happen automatically because of our policies. If the committee wishes to see the surplus dwelling rezoned from A1 to rural residential, it would require a zoning amendment application. However, in the past, we have not required them to rezone it. We have just left it as A1 because the A1 does allow for a single detached house.
So what does that do for the taxes?
The taxes are not tied to the zoning, they're tied to the actual use of the property.
Okay.
So it'll be taxed as a residential.
So what we're saying is, that
But
was
the
confusing
condition
enough.
is there. Condition 8 says it has, like, the condition on your planning summary report says that it does need to be rezoned.
Yes, so that is
That's a condition that you put into the application at this point.
But so is the condition of the A1 to A2.
so if the committee wishes, that condition can be removed.
So what we were doing right now is one would go to rural residential,
The portion that contains the dwelling, yes,
the dwelling that's there now.
yes.
And the portion that contains, or the new lot would be A1 to A2.
Yeah, so all
The new lot goes to rural residential, the severance goes to rural residential, because that's where the house is, the remaining farmland, which is the
Well, that's not how I read it.
The
The
retained land.
the severed surplus farm dwelling parcel be rezoned from agricultural to rural residential. Okay, and the retained farmland be rezoned. Well, that's what I mean. So the retained farmland is the one that has the home right now, correct?
No.
Oh, there's no home right there.
The retained is the farmland and the severed is the 1 hectare house lot.
They're severing this. And keeping,
Yeah.
the
Yeah, that's
retained
what I
is
saw,
all the
yeah.
farmland, the severed is just the property on Leclerc Road where the existing dwelling is.
Okay. It's not to add another home.
No.
No.
Gotcha. My apologies. I thought we were talking about adding another home.
But the practice has always been not to rezone the farmhouse, it just stays as A1. If the municipality wants it to be an RR zone in the future, well, you're about to do a comprehensive zoning bylaw, and it could be changed at that point in time, so it's somewhat unfair to this particular client to have to rezone when nobody else has in the past. That's our point, and really it can stay as A1 for now. It's not going to hurt anything. As Ms. Willett said, it won't change the tax situation, so it's just potato, whatever you want to call it. And if in the future it's better to have it as RR, well, there's an avenue coming up very shortly that could be accomplished through the municipal comprehensive zoning bylaw.
Jonathan, any questions or comments?
Nope.
Okay.
Madam
Yeah, I just have one
Yeah,
other
sorry,
question.
guys. No question or comments.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Is it the intention to do a new access to the property directly off of Leclerc Road? Or is the intention to use that kind of, like the driveway sits over the retained right now, so is that going to be registered? Is it currently registered as an official right of way? Or,
No,
like, do you
it's-
understand what I'm asking?
Yes,
Is
yeah,
how-
I believe so. It's that curved, it's the old road.
Yeah,
So it still has, it's never been formally.
oh, it is
closed.
a road allowance?
It is currently owned by the MTO.
Okay.
There have been discussions with the MTO about the potential purchase of that land.
Okay.
And as per
But
their
it's
policy.
it's not a right of way, it's not privately owned,
That's-
so
that's correct.
it's accessible for them, and that's the entrance that they plan to continue to use on that property.
Yeah, the MTO does that all the time. When they deviate the highway, they don't close the old section.
Okay.
So it still is an open public road for them to use. It's not maintained other than by themselves.
To answer the question for the driveway, yes, they are looking at putting the driveway off of Levac Road.
Leclerc.
Leclerc?
Leclerc, yeah, Leclerc, Levac, all the same to me.
Okay,
Okay.
so I guess if we want to either save them time or money or whatnot, and save them from putting in an application, we would have to change the
Conditioning.
condition to leave it to A1. So I would need, if that's of any interest to either one of you, I would need an amendment from yourself or
That's been
John.
generally done in the past.
Yes.
Okay, I'll move that.
So I have a motion to amend 0.8 to leave the dwelling as A1 and not change it to RR.
I would recommend maybe just for simplicity, just removing condition.
Condition.
Condition 8, because the A1,
Well, is that what you
A2
want?
is automatic, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
that's automatic.
So I have a motion to remove condition 8. I need a seconder. Jonathan. Any comments or questions on that?
So vote on the amendment, then vote on the original
Yes.
motion.
So I need a vote for the amendment of the,
Conditions,
of the conditions, I guess, yeah.
all in favor?
Well, Gary, and all in favor of this item moving forward? Carry.
Thank you.
Number 5.
Okay, It is moved by Kathleen Rochon, seconded by Jonathan Sandford. Be it resolved that the consent application made by Casa Development for the creation of new lots on Roy Street is approved on the following conditions. That a reference plan be prepared and deposited in the land registry office, confirmation that all property taxes are paid to date, that all conditions be met on or before August 8th, 2027, that a transfer be submitted to the municipality, to the Secretary Treasurer for the issuance of a certificate of consent, and in the event any portion of the municipally maintained and traveled road is located on either the severed or retained, that 10 meters from center line, including the retained land, shall be surveyed at the owner's cost and transferred to the municipality as a condition of the within severance. So just pulling it up here first quickly. You do have a memo within the agenda which provides a bit of the background on this property. So the proposal is to sever 3 lots out of this parcel. This lot 10 was created within the latest phase of the Casa subdivision. These lots were contemplated in the engineering of this project. It was factored in for the capacity, the service connections were installed. It was considered for the hydro, the gas. All of the engineering that went into this design did factor in these 4 lots. When the draft plan was brought to council for approval, and unfortunately just had this as lot 10, it didn't have it broken into 4 lots. And when the applicant was coming to finalize that subdivision, it was recognized that they would need to do a red line amendment if they wanted to have these 4 lots created through that subdivision. And because of the timelines and the extension that would be required if they were doing a red line, they decided to proceed with registering the subdivision as it was approved by council. With that said, the reason we generally do multiple lots through a plan of subdivision instead of a consent application is because there needs to be that more complex, in-depth review of it. The official plan does state that up to 2 lots are permitted for residential purposes, but because these lots were contemplated throughout this subdivision, it is my opinion that if we were to do this as a consent application, the intent of that official plan policy would still be met because you have taken, your staff have undertaken that thorough review of the implications of these lots.
Madam Mayor.
Can we see the lot 10 in relation to the rest of the approved subdivision?
It's a big one.
I didn't bring my glasses. That was the problem.
Fair enough. So this is lot 10 over here. It's on the corner of Alex and Roy. And this, as you can see, phases 4 and 5 of the subdivision.
Any other
And that will
questions?
have both water and sewer servicing, full water and sewer servicing on those lots?
That is correct, yes, and those services have been installed.
Any other comments or questions? Jonathan?
Nope, all good on my end.
Don?
Being done.
No different than a townhouse block. You actually create a block when you do this, and when they go in to actually sever them up, there can be up to 8 units. They sever them up in 8. This is no different.
Okay. No other questions?
I
or
just have
comments?
one other question. The lots that are being created meet the minimum lot size for whatever the zoning is there?
That is correct, yes, they have the minimum lot size and frontage.
Okay, thank you.
All right, if there's nothing else,
One other comment too, just on the point of the 2 by way of severance. In my opinion, your official plan is somewhat ambiguous as to whether it is capped at 2 or whether an additional lot may be permissible. If you look at section D(I) of the official plan where it talks about, it says up to 2 consents for residential purposes may be granted for a legally conveyable lot. But in the next paragraph, it also says, in no case will an additional severance be granted for lots or parcels of land which overlap the agricultural resource lands designation. So by inclusion of the word additional lot right after they've said the up to 2 lots, right there alone, that as long as you're not encroaching into the agricultural designation area with the additional lot, there's 3 lots that are permissible under the official plan. So the policy and practice, or the interpretation of the policy for the last 10 or more years, has been to permit that additional lot in the rural area as long as it wasn't encroaching into the ag lands. And so to state that we only get up to 2 by way of severance simply isn't supported by what's written in the official plan. So on that point, I agree with everything that Ms. Willock has already stated. It has been given a thorough review. We've already entered into the subdivision agreement. The letter of credit has already been provided for the provision of the services. Everything's in place. This was always contemplated. It's been taken account of in the capacity study that was done back in 2023. These 3 additional lots are identified in the capacity study. So everything points that this was what we were always intending with that. But like I say, I think the official plan just in and of itself does not limit you to just 2 lots by way of a severance.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll bring it to a vote. All in favor? Carried. And number 6.
Okay. It is moved by Jonathan Sandiford and seconded by Kathleen Rochon. Be it resolved that the application for a lot addition at 880 Canal Road is approved on the following conditions: that a reference plan be prepared and deposited in the land registry office and a copy be provided to the municipality, confirmation that all property taxes are paid to date, that all conditions be met on or before August 8th, 2027, that a transfer be submitted to the Secretary Treasurer for the issuance of a certificate of consent. In the event that any portion of the municipally maintained traveled road is located on either the severed or retained, that 10 meters from center line of the maintained or traveled roadway be surveyed at the owner's cost and transferred to the municipality, that a PIN consolidation be registered in the land registry office in order to consolidate the lot addition lands with the lands to which they're being added, that the lands being added be rezoned to tourist commercial, and that a minor variance be obtained for the retained lands to reduce the minimum lot area and frontage. Through you, Mr. Chair, I'm just going to pull up the application here. This proposal is for a lot addition, and another file that we saw recently. Last month, this area just south of the orange portion was a lot addition to this land as well. We're looking to move just 2.5, just under 6 acres of land from this red portion being added to this green portion here. The retained lands are of an insufficient size and frontage, which is why that minor variance condition is there. But I will note that when these lots were initially created, you can kind of see it's matching the same size as the ones beside it. The orange was actually added to this red a couple years ago, and now it's being moved on. So when that red property was developed, it was contained entirely within the red. So their septic, their services, the dwelling and everything is self-sufficient within that red portion. And I think I will leave it at that for any questions.
I will open it up for questions or comments.
I'm sorry,
Mayor?
I sometimes it just takes me a minute. So all of those small little lots that were previously cottages to a tourist commercial operation, they all have their own private servicing on each of those lots for both water and sewer?
That is my understanding, yes.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions?
The need to rezone to a C3 immediately. Is there a reason for that until it's actually used for C3 purposes? Just wondering, the same thing as the last one, the condition that it be rezoned to C3, it's until they intend to use it and build upon it, it will increase the taxes of the whole property fairly significantly. But it's being bought for future considerations, and so until they submit a building permit for using it specifically in a C3 fashion, I think that's the time that the C3 should kick in, and not necessarily right now.
So
Sorry, you can't create a lot that doesn't have, like, you can't landlock a parcel.
So it's not creating a landlocked parcel, it is being added, so it will all
But
be,
should the zoning not be consistent across, if it's all one property?
you can have a split zoning. Generally, we do like to see a parcel have one zoning just to make sure it is clear, and I can appreciate the concern about if you're not gonna use it as commercial for 20 years to be handling a fully commercial property. My one concern that I would note is when you have a commercial property abutting a residential property compared to a residential abutting residential, there are increased setbacks. So my only concern would be if they were to construct anything under the rural zoning or the rural residential zoning, and then later rezone it to C3, we would have to legalize those setbacks, which may be closer to the residential properties than we would generally allow with the C3 zone. So I'm not sure if this is helpful. This is an alternative view that kind of shows where the final property boundaries would be.
Any other questions? Don? You're on mute, Don.
Sorry, my computer just did something unreal and I can only see myself, but doesn't matter. On the condition for the retained, you're asking us to put in a minor variance for that?
That is correct.
That is a lot of record.
It is no longer a lot of record because this lot addition was completed to it. So you are reducing it. I know, I recognize that it was previously a lot of record, but
Was
there
it done
has
on,
since been
was
that.
it done on consent?
Yes.
Both of them?
So I'm not sure what you mean by that.
The original one, was it not done on consent?
The lot was created via consent, yes.
The one on Canal Road?
Yes.
I'm still not sure on that one again. We're being forced, like, it was a lot on record, the 12 and it was, the back part was, because we still didn't get those, we couldn't find those. The back part was a lot addition?
Yes.
Okay. Wish I could see the screen, but I can't.
Sorry, I don't.
Nothing fun to look at.
For minor variance, though.
That is condition 8 that was added as part of the amended.
Oh, sorry, I've got the old version.
All good.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, seeing none. I will bring it to a vote. All in favor? Carried.
Alrighty. It is moved by Kathleen Rochon and seconded by Jonathan Sandiford. Be it resolved that the Committee of Adjustment meeting held on August 7th be adjourned to September 9th.
All in favor? Carried.